themselves and Tiger Claw mentions their clothes, saying that only nobles can afford to buy them. They then decide to sell their clothes and blend in with the people. On the other hand, they are all glad that they don't need to stay in the muddy forest anymore. And the skies show that the weather is good for the next few days. That night, everyone camped out. Tiger Claw expresses his shock as he discovers that Chin Tian's group has refined salt. He mentions how they only got it by simply drying salt water. Just then, they notice a sudden commotion behind them. People got their hands tied on their backs, and a menacing man shouted his order to stop. Tiger Claw explains that they are city-state soldiers that ransack human sacrifices and offerings from nearby villages. Chin Tian asks about the siblings' village, but Aya claims that they are strong enough to kill the soldiers. Chin Tian expresses his worry about the soldiers' retribution, but the little girl explains that the city-state won't know as long as they kill everyone. Sorum suddenly jolts up to check on the prisoners. Chin Tian lends her his telescope. Sorum checks on them and shakes her head, meaning it is not her clanmates. Later on, the siblings enjoyed using the telescopes for stargazing. It was interesting enough for Aya to trade her brother for one. They continue traveling the next day and see conflicts along the road. Everyone ignores these conflicts, including the city-state soldiers. After walking for 3 days, they finally see a huge structure, more than enough to know that it is already the city-state. Nick is genuinely surprised, unlike Ragna and Kata, who have already seen the laboratory before. Chin Tian asks Sand Eagle to survey the area and borrows its sight. Chin Tian is surprised by what he sees. Mayan pyramids appear before his eyes, and he can't believe it. Chin Tian asks if the siblings are Mayan people, but they claim they are corn people. Chin Tian can't be mistaken for thinking that these are Mayan pyramids. He does recall that the Native Americans cultivated corn way before others. Tiger Claw wonders if there is something wrong. Chin Tian shakes his head and asks to keep going. Chin Tian asks Tiger Claw if he knows about the 5th Maya prophecy, but the latter doesn't know about it. It seems like these people were also brought to the island by the time and space storms. Chin Tian can see that people are paying the gate fees with crops and such. He can also see a moat, which is quite unusual for Mayans. He wonders if some people have attempted to jump over those moats, which is doable. The siblings get flustered and mention that God is watching all the time. Just then, they see someone get in without paying, and Tiger Claw explains that the person is a resident of the city-state and always brings a special identification card. Chin Tian wonders how to become a resident, but Tiger Claw claims that there is no way. He further explains that one day the gods descended on a random village and imparted wisdom until it became a city-state. As they get further inside the gates, they see other people getting banned from entry. Afterward, Chin Tian's group sees wide farmland full of flames. Chin Tian discovers that slaves are being used to collect the fallen leaves and corn stalks and burn them to be used as fertilizer. After 10 more minutes, they can now see low-rise buildings. Based on Tiger Claw's explanation, the city-state is divided into 3 parts. The farmlands, the residential areas, and the temple in the center of the city-state. They arrive at the market and things are lively. Tiger Claw wonders where they will go, and Chin Tian wonders where they can see slaves. Aya calls him disgusting, but Chin Tian explains that he is only curious to see Tiger Claw point in a direction where slaves are being sold. A visibly strong man is currently being put on auction and everyone bids on their cocoa beans and shells. Sorum lets out a deep sigh. Aya soon learns that they are looking for Sorum's clan which has been captured. The siblings just found out the reason why Chin Tian and the others came to the city-state. Sorum thanks Chin Tian for bringing her to the city-state and swears to repay Chin Tian in the future. Chin Tian also thanked her for leading them to the city-state, which was their main goal in the first place. Chin Tian wants to explore the Mayan structures but he needs to help Sorum look for her clan first. The siblings offer their help to look around. It seems like giving them discounts before made the siblings feel gratitude toward Chin Tian. The city-state is wide and it already turns dusk searching for Sorum's clan. Everyone gets hungry after walking around and Tiger Claw wonders if Aya wants to eat her favorite. A man wearing a business smile sells hot cocoa. There are also other things to eat at the food stalls. Chin Tian hears the price of the hot cocoa, but he worries that the siblings already used it during their transaction with Chin Tian. Aya claims that is the reason her brother is helping people get paid now. Tiger Claw shouts and tells Chin Tian to help themselves, but Chin Tian wants to pay for their food themselves. Just then, the merchant wonders if Chin Tian owns the Golden Eagle. A bowl of hot cocoa is slammed on the table and Chin Tian, Ragnar and Nick are unaccustomed to the taste of cocoa with chile. Meanwhile, Aruba and the siblings are enjoying the delicacy. He tells everyone to thank the Sand Eagle for providing its feather as currency. Poor Sand Eagle got its feathers plucked out. Night comes and it is camp time again. Qin Tian recalls the rumors that the Mayan civilization was built with the help of aliens. Aya suddenly feels hot and Tiger Claw starts taking out some of the fire. Tiger Claw quickly leaves with Aya and tells Qin Tian's group not to worry. Tiger Claw easily jumps over the moat with ease. Despite warning Qin Tian during the morning, Aya continuously feels hot. Tiger Claw then jumps into a river while holding onto Aya. Poor Sand Eagle became their piggy bank again for the next morning's meal. Qin Tian was worried after seeing the siblings soaked in water and Aya unconscious last night. Some people then talk about the holy ball games in the temple. Qin Tian gets curious about it and Tiger Claw claims that it is a very sacred sport. Their group soon arrives at the temple and a lot of people are amazed by the Mayan pyramid's size. Qin Tian finds the statues on the side interesting because they look like Chinese dragons. They get inside the pyramid and discover massive paintings on the wall. Qin Tian is amazed by them. Tiger Claw then starts introducing the gods depicted in the paintings. Ikikwa, the black god of war. Chuk, the rain god. Apyush, the god of the underworld. And Ichil, the goddess of the moon. There is also the Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, the lord, who has a giant snake on his head. Qin Tian then asks who the god is in the other painting, which looks like it was added recently. Tiger Claw explains that they are the god of wisdom, who descended from the city-state to impart knowledge. Qin Tian can't help but think of the ancient Chinese frescoes. However, the Mayan frescoes show more content and the process of their brutal human sacrifice ritual. It didn't take long for the group to exit the pyramid and later discover more of them, like hills. The Mayan pyramids are concentrated in the middle part of the city-state. There is a square in the middle of the pyramids where the holy ball sports are being conducted. The cheering audience gets heated up as the participants play the sports. Tiger Claw explains that they need to throw the ball into the ring without using their hands and feet. They can only use their elbow, forearm, knee, or buttocks. Suddenly, the participants start beating up each other. Qin Tian can't believe that they are allowed to punch others or even kill others while playing the game. Just then, the ball flew toward Qin Tian. Qin Tian tries to catch the ball but its terrifying force is strong enough to throw it off Qin Tian. Tiger Claw, on the other hand, easily catches it. Tiger Claw checks on Qin Tian who asks for the ball. The ball weighs at least 6 pounds and Qin Tian notices how it feels like rubber. The players then ask for the ball. Seeing the injured players, Qin Tian wonders if the sport is really dangerous. Tiger Claw claims that this only occurs when the priest hosts the game. Everyone seems competitive this time around. A man then joins their conversation and informs them that it is a priest-hosted game. Tiger Claw wonders if the sacrificial ceremony is over since the priest-hosted game happens after it. The man explains that the priest adjusted the time of the game and set it before the ceremony. Tiger Claw then grabs his sister and leaves. The siblings abruptly leave Qin Tian and the others. They wonder what happened to make Tiger Claw giddy. They think the holy ball contest is a big deal. Qin Tian orders the others to scatter to look for slave auctions and meet after an hour. The group continues their search for Soram's clansmen. Knowing that the holy ball games are important, people will flock over to them. It means it will be easy now for Qin Tian and the others to look around the regions. Unfortunately, they haven't seen signs of Soram's clan after searching for an hour. Just then, someone shouts for help. A caged talking bird shouts for help while mentioning Soram's name. A man puts up a price of 300 cocoa beans or 100 shells for the talking bird. He is also willing to trade the bird for a sand eagle or white-eyed hawk. Qin Tian tries to bargain the price, but the merchant ignores him. In the end, Qin Tian uses all the cocoa beans he got from Tiger Claw and some feathers from the poor sand eagle. The parrot continues repeating the words, and Soram. The Lada people are amazed by the talking parrot. Soram claims it was the bird that one of his clanmates was raising. She then asks the parrot for the whereabouts of its owner and the others. The bird then flies off somewhere and asks them to follow it. They soon reach another Mayan pyramid which is still impressive for Qin Tian and the rest. Suddenly, the ring points toward the direction of the pyramid. The guards then stop them because the temple is ahead of the gate. Qin Tian calmly complies with them and backs off after finding out that a certain area is where the priest and king live. Just then someone called out to them and it was the merchant from before with a nice business smile. He came to offer hot cocoa to the priests in the temple. He was chosen to present an offering because he got the best hot cocoa in the city. The guards then shout at them, and Qin Tian leaves as the merchant gets escorted inside the gates. Qin Tian tells the others to leave for now. He tells them about the area's tight security, which makes it hard to sneak in. He tells them to prepare so they can be invited inside the temple area. The others wonder how they were invited inside. Qin Tian reminds them how the merchant from a while ago got inside the temple. They just need to collect a lot of cocoa beans from now on. Qin Tian plans to make the most delicious hot cocoa after trading some of it from the market area. Qin Tian also discovers some sweet potatoes and recalls how America is their home. In addition to cocoa beans, Qin Tian's group also collected sweet potatoes and vanilla. That night, Qin Tian's group roasts sweet potatoes, and it is the first time the lot of people eat them. Qin Tian claims it is easy to use as a reserved food and can easily fill your stomach. However, it makes your stomach gaseous to the point that you fart like Aruba. Qin Tian gives them a clear warning using Aruba as an example. The main reason Qin Tian bought too many sweet potatoes was to get the syrup he needed for the hot cocoa. After dinner, everyone starts processing their hot cocoa. Qin Tian's group is responsible for getting the syrup out of the sweet potatoes, while Soram's group is in charge of dehydrating the cocoa beans. Soon after, the sweet potatoes show signs of sugar, while the cocoa beans are now being ground to pieces. Qin Tian lets the remaining water evaporate while the syrup is left behind. On the other hand, Soram adds herbs to the ground powder. After some time, all their ingredients are done. Everyone then starts cooking hot cocoa in a large pot, and Qin Tian adds syrup to add sweetness to the bitterness, milk to enhance the drink's smoothness when drunk, and finally, vanilla to enhance the flavor of the hot cocoa. Everyone takes a sip of the improvised hot cocoa, and you can see on their faces that Qin Tian was successful in making a unique hot cocoa. With Qin Tian's taste test, he realizes he needs to add more syrup to it. But Kuma wonders if honey can also enhance the hot cocoa's sweetness. Qin Tian explains that honey becomes sour at a certain temperature, which is not suitable for a hot drink like hot cocoa. The next morning, a peculiar scent covered the market's food stall area. Qin Tian shouts and advertises their hot cocoa as the best in the city-state. The sweet, delicious smell is enough to turn people into hot cocoa junkies and push each other to buy some. The business was booming, and Qin Tian's group was selling hot cocoa like hotcakes. Everyone gets a taste of the new hot cocoa in town. It was delicious enough to hear the gods calling them. It was only an hour, but Qin Tian's group sold out of hot cocoa. They also got a lot of cocoa beans as payment for today's sale. Seeing that they are selling is pretty rewarding for Qin Tian and the others, but collecting currency is not their goal. They just need to get famous and reach the ears of the priests. Qin Tian's group sold their hot cocoa in various parts of the city-state, and Qin Tian expected that they would get the attention of the priests in less than a week. He wonders what is happening now with the holy ball. Everyone cheers hard as players attack someone who was wearing a haystack on the field. The punch was ineffective, and the haystack man easily flipped over his attackers. The attacker wondered what had happened as he punched the haystack. Qin Tian and Kata are impressed by the haystack man and even mention how that haystack man is stronger than Summon Sun. Just then, a kid calls out to Qin Tian and asks if he can work for them in exchange for hot cocoa. Qin Tian then hands out a large bowl of free hot cocoa to the kid. The kid hurriedly gulps down the hot cocoa, making Qin Tian flustered, and he asks the kid to put down his basket first. Qin Tian notices the contents of the basket. The stones are calcium carbide, which is a material for the production of acetylene and calcium cyanamide. Qin Tian asks if he can take a look at the stones. He then throws one into a bowl of water and the water starts boiling. Qin Tian asks the others to step back as he places fire on it. The bowl explodes as the calcium carbide reacts with the flame. This confirms that it is a real calcium carbide. Knowing that this material shouldn't exist in nature, Qin Tian asks the kid where he got it. On the outskirts of the city-state, the kid leads Qin Tian to the nearby forest. The kid claims that the place they're going is cursed. He mentions how lightning struck the temple and everyone in it turned crazy. Qin Tian wonders why the kid is not scared despite the rumors. The kid claims that the priests have already driven away the evil gods in it. They then arrive at an abandoned Mayan pyramid. The kid tells Qin Tian not to worry about offending the gods because the temple is now abandoned. They enter the pyramid and Qin Tian notices the cracks in the walls. The walls were also melted by the lightning from the stories. The kid then points out the rubble where he got the calcium carbide. Qin Tian notices a lot of charcoal, quicklime, limestones, and of course calcium carbide. Qin Tian wonders how these byproducts came about. He can only think of the electrical traces on the walls, but mere lightning is not enough to produce the necessary heat and charge. Qin Tian then notices a different-looking piece of rock. He feels like he's already seen this rock before and knows that the Mayans can't produce such a rock. Qin Tian then plans to check out the other nearby temples. Qin Tian then wonders why the kid is collecting limestone. The kid explains that the limestones are used to build temples, and Qin Tian realizes that the kid is selling them. Shin Tian thanks the kid for leading the way and promises to pay him later. The kid declines, as he has already received a bowl of hot cocoa. Based on the kid's appearance and clothing, Shin Tian realizes that the kid is one of those poor commoners of the city-state. Later, Shin Tian discovers a shelf and wonders what was originally placed on it. The kid claims it was all limestone before he took them away. Shin Tian's hunches are now right. The kid wonders what Shin Tian is looking for and he claims that he is looking for something strange, like a shiny stone. They get on top of the pyramid, and Shin Tian notices the tiles on the rooftop. He can see that they look like solar panels. He then decides to check on the other temples. Afternoon comes and Shin Tian thanks the kid for showing him around. The kid went home and Aruba got worried that the stone would explode in the jar. Shin Tian tells him not to worry as long as it doesn't come into contact with fire. It was a shame that Shin Tian only gained calcium carbide during his excursion. However, he is more worried about the temple roof which clearly resembles solar panels. He had checked the other temples and discovered that not all of them got solar panels. Some of them got ruined. He notices how it was deliberately broken by someone. Because of the impact of the hit, the panels explode, leaving holes behind. Those panels are obviously not a product of this era, and Shin Tian can't help but think of them. He initially thought that the calcium carbide was made by the priests, but it turned out to be the product of an accident. Just then, Nick reports that the hot cocoa is sold out again. Shin Tian tells them to pack up and prepare to return to camp. The next day comes and the holy ball sports are still raging on. Apparently, it is the last day of the sports, which is why there is a large audience. Despite the number of people, Shin Tian's hot cocoa is not selling well in the finals. Suddenly people start kneeling and others wonder if they should do the same. Sorum claims that the priest is coming. Two men are being carried on a palanquin. They pass by the people who are kneeling in front of them. Shin Tian wonders who among the two is the priest. He can't deduce because no one looks like a learned person. They can't hear what the thinner man is talking about on top of the pyramid. On the other hand, the man feels great looking down on people like ants. Everyone celebrates as he announces the start of the holy ball sports finals. The two men sit down as they watch the games. The thinner man discovers the haystack warrior bulldozing through the other players. He wants to take the man as his own. The thinner man turns out to be the priest and he gets some hot cocoa as a refreshment. Later on, Shin Tian continues to brew their hot cocoa until someone calls them out. Guards from the temple menacingly look at them. Shin Tian soon learns they can either get cocoa beans or slaves as rewards. The guards confirm and inform them that they will pick them up tomorrow morning. They must prepare before that. Shin Tian is glad that saving Sorum's clan is now easier thanks to the fat man or the king giving him slaves. A rewarding choice. Just then, Bakuma points somewhere. A man covered in blue ink is being apprehended and tied up. The priest calls the man lucky to meet the gods as he menacingly lifts a knife. The man gets stabbed and kicked off the stairs. He falls to the ground in front of the haystack warrior. The priest lifts the human sacrifice's heart as he announces that the divine light will always protect them. Everyone cheers except for the haystack warrior. Kata finds the event blasphemous while Shin Tian suggests getting out soon. That night, Shin Tian checks on Ragna who was stuffed in their jar. They added more holes to the jar for Ragna's ventilation. Shin Tian expects things to happen the next day. The morning comes and Shin Tian worries if the priest will ask them to remove their masks. The guards check on their jar and see no problem. A guard orders Shin Tian and the others to always follow them. The other guards were impressed by the cart's wheels. Shin Tian notices how wide the moats are where the priests and king live. Something caught Shin Tian's attention. Piranhas live in the moats. If someone falls over it, then it is game over. Seeing the huge pyramid again, Shin Tian wonders how long these structures took to be built. He then notices that there is an entrance on the side instead of the stairs. Shin Tian is surprised that this pyramid is bigger than the rest of the scattered pyramids. He paid some cocoa beans to the guard for information, but the guard's knowledge about the place was limited. The large pyramid's residents are divided into three groups: the king, the nobles, and the slave soldiers. Shin Tian's group soon arrives at the second floor where nobles reside. They soon arrive at the kitchen and the guard orders them to get the famous hot cocoa ready in an hour. Seeing that they are heavily guarded, it is impossible to run. Shin Tian decides to prepare the cocoa first. Sorum is amazed to see the smoke being ventilated. Shin Tian explains how the chimney works. However, the principle of building it is not simple and some unknown forces are working behind the scenes in the city-state. Previously, Shin Tian and his group managed to sneak into the temple under the disguise of hot cocoa merchants. A guard stood by outside the kitchen. He suddenly heard coughing from inside. He checked if there was a fire, but Sorum claimed that the firewood suddenly went out. While the guards were helping to solve the crisis, Shin Tian sneaked out of the kitchen. Ragna, who was inside the huge jar, replaced Shin Tian. However, the guards noticed how he got a different height compared to before. Just then, the parrot distracted the guards by flying away, but Sorum told them that it would return on its own. Shin Tian was glad that their plan had worked. He sensed the urgency because he only had an hour to move around. Shin Tian soon ran through the hallways while looking at the ring's navigation arrow. Seeing that the light was getting stronger, Shin Tian sensed that he was getting near something. However, there were still other people walking around and Shin Tian hid to take more precautions. Suddenly he heard people shouting that they could see God. He checked a room and discovered that most of the residents of the temple were enjoying their own time in their rooms. Well, it is thanks to their behavior that Shin Tian can move around undetected. Going left and right, Shin Tian continued following the ring's direction. However, he reached a dead end where the ring was strongly pointing. He wondered if he needed to phase through it. Meanwhile, the guards are fascinated that the parrot really came back on its own. Just then, smoke started coming out of the kitchen again. The guards checked on them again while Shin Tian sneaked back inside. They hid Ragna during the commotion and joined Sorum in apologizing to the guards. The guards got mad and warned them not to repeat the same mistake. Shin Tian found nothing when he roamed around outside. He got stressed after seeing the ring point into a wall. Thinking that it was the same as the adventure video games, Shin Tian thought that the arrow might be pointing somewhere behind the wall. However, Shin Tian ran around it but the ring still pointed in the wall's direction. After calming down, Shin Tian realized that there might really be something on the other side of the wall. He thought of destroying the wall, but the covert operation that they started is the priority for now. They finished the hot cocoa. Shin Tian is sad that he can't confirm if the priest is Mayan. It was a pity that his group was left behind in the kitchen. The guards soon returned and gave them the rewards that the priest had provided. Of course, Shin Tian chose slaves as the reward so they could rescue Sorum's clanmates. Soon after, Shin Tian's group is escorted back to the outside of the temple. He then notices someone being escorted inside. It was the Haystack Warrior. Apparently the Haystack Warrior won the holy ball game. The Haystack Warrior's goal was to meet the priest. It didn't take long for Shin Tian's group to be led to the dungeons where the slaves were being kept. The guards tell Shin Tian to pick 2 slaves as rewards. He was surprised to hear that they could only get 2. It was a blunder that he didn't ask for the number of slaves as a reward in the beginning. Shin Tian wondered if the slaves could be bought. The guard confirmed it and gave a price for each. 200 cocoa beans for a man, 150 for a woman, and 80 for a child. Shin Tian then noticed that a lot of slaves were painted with blue dye. It just means that there will be a lot of slaves to be sacrificed by the priest again. Just then, the parrot started talking about something in another cell. The parrot landed on someone's arm. A group of slaves immediately recognized the bird that their clan had been keeping. Sorum called out to Heiyu and the rest of her clanmates. Heiyu, the owner of the parrot, was surprised upon seeing Sorum. The guard asked if Shin Tian wanted to buy all the slaves in the cell. Shin Tian confirmed as he already realized that they are Sorum's clanmates. He also noticed some children that are meant to be used as human sacrifices. He couldn't bear to see meaningless deaths and asked the guard if he could also buy the children. Suddenly, Shin Tian's ring shone, and a light came out of it as it hit the wall. A systematic voice confirms that their identity has been confirmed and access has been allowed. The ground started shaking as the gate opened. Everyone panicked because of the sudden earthquake and the voice they heard, which they called God's voice. Shin Tian wondered if a laboratory was behind the wall. He got anxious because of this sudden development without being prepared at all. The guards started calling Shin Tian an evil god and attacked him. Shin Tian knew that he was being misunderstood now because of the voice he heard moments ago. Shin Tian then fights back in self-defense to knock out the guard. Kata and Ragna also defend themselves against the guards, who are calling them evil. However, the gate failed to open, and the system rebooted. Shin Tian ordered Sorum to get out of the cells with her clanmates. Shin Tian was glad that he hid some things in the jar beforehand. He used a smoke bomb and ordered Kata and Ragna to open the other cells. This is a chance for the slaves to escape their fate as human sacrifices. Shin Tian's group and some slaves started running away while the guards were distracted by the smoke. The system's sound continued, announcing the failure of the gate opening. The priest wondered how the sound got turned on because it didn't have any energy in the first place. The Haystack Warrior wondered if it was God's voice that they were hearing. A guard then comes to report to the priest that evil spirits have appeared. The priest immediately went out to check on the situation and discovered Qin Tian's runaway group. He noticed the strange light on Qin Tian's hand and got anxious that the secret place had already been found. Knowing that the door had resonated with them, the priest wondered if they also got the inheritance. The priest immediately ordered the haystack warrior to kill Qin Tian's group. Qin Tian's group finally got out of the gates and Bokuma's group noticed them getting surrounded. Nick immediately dashed off to help Qin Tian. Bakuma caught up to her and the two confronted the guards at the outer gates. Bakuma and Nick swiftly dealt with the guards. Meanwhile, Qin Tian is also doing well fending off the soldiers. He suddenly hears the parrot shouting instructions at someone. Heiyu dodged an attack after listening to the parrot. The parrot told Heiyu to go for the hit and he was able to punch the soldier. Qin Tian is somehow impressed by how Heiyu and the parrot fight. Suddenly Kata warned Qin Tian to check his ride. The haystack warrior appeared out of nowhere to attack but Qin Tian quickly dodged him. Qin Tian then attacks and stabs the haystack warrior with his sword. However, it was ineffective and the haystack warrior moved fine. Kata then joined the fight to fend off the haystack warrior. Qin Tian got flabbergasted and realized that there was no feeling of hitting or stabbing. Seeing more soldiers coming in, Qin Tian realized that they needed to escape as fast as they could. Just then, Nick and Bakuma arrived as reinforcements. Kata kept the haystack warrior busy while the others tried to escape the area. The haystack man noticed the others and Kata used this chance to attack the haystack warrior. The haystack warrior retracts his arm and a spear comes out of the haystack. Kata got surprised and dodged. The haystack man used this chance to chase Qin Tian. Kata shouts from the top of his lungs to warn Qin Tian. Qin Tian blocked the haystack warrior's punch but he felt the heaviness of the attack. Ragna tried to support Qin Tian but Qin Tian told him to escape with the others while he dealt with the haystack warrior. Qin Tian knew that only he could stop the haystack warrior. Meanwhile, a sick Aya woke up because of the noise from outside. She complains to her brother but she discovers that he is missing. She went out to check what was happening outside and noticed soldiers chasing some people. Nick asked where Qin Tian was but Ragna told her that they needed to go first. However, Nick wanted to help Qin Tian. Ragna stopped her and told her to believe in Qin Tian. Meanwhile, Qin Tian and Kata were fighting against the haystack warrior. After fighting for a long time, Qin Tian realized that the haystack man was using the haystack to cover his posture. In that way his enemy would get confused. However, his haystack cloak can only confuse stabbing attacks. Qin Tian used his power to surprise the haystack warrior with his speed. Qin Tian managed to slash the haystack man and blood spurted. The haystack man backed off quickly and Qin Tian was amazed by his nimbleness. The haystack man then got serious and brought out a weapon. Qin Tian orders Kata to find a way to disarm the haystack warrior. They need to hurry and help the others being chased by the soldiers. Qin Tian and Kata then surround the haystack warrior. Qin Tian easily destroyed the stone spear. The haystack warrior tried to counter with a punch but Kata was behind him. The three quickly made a distance from each other. They then gritted their teeth for one more clash. However, a familiar voice intervened in the fight shouting at her brother. Everyone was surprised to hear and see Aya, who was out of the house after running. Hearing her call the haystack man her brother means only one thing. Aya then asks her brother what he is doing and the haystack man tries to make up a reason. Aya wonders if Hu Zhao is doing this for her. However, Aya disliked the fact that Hu Zhao was hurting their friends. Qin Tian and Kata now fully realize that the haystack warrior was Hu Zhao all along. Qin Tian tells Kata that this is their opportunity to run away. Just then Hu Zhao menacingly turned toward their direction and dashed past them. Using the stick part of his spear he knocks out a soldier. Hu Zhao finally removes his haystack coat. He cried a river as he felt really bad for hurting his friends. Aya suddenly felt dizzy and fell unconscious. In the temple the priest hastily ordered everyone to kill Hu Zhao and Qin Tian. He needed them to die. However, Hu Zhao easily overpowered the soldiers by himself. Hu Zhao then tells them that he will help them get out despite being unqualified as their friend. The trio along with Aya continues to run away while fighting the soldiers. They got near the outer gate and threw the soldiers toward the river full of piranhas. More soldiers caught up to them and fired some improvised arrows. Hu Zhao noticed the attack and used his haystack coat to fend off the arrows. The group ran toward the rainforest and immediately got away from the sight of the soldiers. Qin Tian can see that it is only a matter of time before he gets away from the soldiers in the dense forest. Just then he notices the sand eagles chirp. Ragna and Nick had led Soram's clans away from the temple. Soram kept telling Heiyu and the others how magnanimous Qin Tian is. Nick notices Qin Tian coming with the Kata, Hu Zhao and Aya. Hu Zhao kneeled to the ground and Qin Tian got worried. He claims that it was his punishment for betraying his friends. He did use his body to defend himself against the multiple soldiers. Aya then calls her brother's attention and reminds him about their promise. Hu Zhao has brought their friends to a safer place. He fulfilled his promise to Aya. Qin Tian notices Aya's visible symptoms and asks the siblings for more symptoms so he can save her. Hu Zhao panics and wonders if they need a sacrifice. Qin Tian tells him to calm down and Hu Zhao does his best to calm down Aya. He then shares how Aya feels cold despite being near a fire. She will also become very hot and her breath will be the same. Those two cases will alternate from time to time. Qin Tian deeply wonders what Aya's real condition is since the symptoms are too common. Hu Zhao mentions how Aya must have offended the gods for the mosquitoes to attack her relentlessly before. Qin Tian then confirms one more time that Aya was attacked by mosquitoes. Qin Tian tells Hu Zhao not to believe in the gods' punishment since Aya has malaria instead. Everyone wonders what malaria is and Qin Tian explains that it is a disease. Hu Zhao then asks if Aya will be cured since it is a disease instead of a curse. Qin Tian then checks his knowledge database on first aid in the wild. He then finds the section that contains information about malaria. Qin Tian also finds a method for treating it. He quickly asks Hu Zhao to help Aya get up. Qin Tian doesn't have anything right so she decided to use acupuncture for now. He then goes to apply pressure to Aya's acupuncture points. Aya suddenly became a bit better. However, what Qin Tian did was only to ease her pain for now. He exclaims that they need a special medicine to treat her. Soon after Qin Tian found a lot of medicinal materials on the map projected by the ring. He then discovers the cinchona trees that are native to America. Quinine and artemisinin, which are extracted from its bark, are used to treat malaria. The map immediately points out the place where cinchona trees are growing. Since this is an emergency, Qin Tian, Kata and White Eye will set out soon to find the medicinal materials. He reminds the others to hide and be careful. Ragna wishes them luck and safety. It will take half a day for them to get to their destination. Meanwhile, the priest watches over a map that is also holographic. He claims he is the god of this area. Using the map, he quickly finds Qin Tian and the others. Qin Tian, Kata and White Eye travel through the dark forest. Despite having a flashlight, they still need to be careful in the dense forest. However, they must hurry to save Aya who is at risk. Qin Tian finds a shortcut to traverse the nearby river stream. White Eye jumps in first but he gets electrocuted. Worried, Qin Tian runs to save White Eye. After stepping on the water, Qin Tian also got electrocuted. Kata tries to save him but Qin Tian warns Kata not to get near the water. Kata uses his spear to get Qin Tian out of the water. They wonder what is in the water. After their electrocution, Qin Tian's flashlight got busted. Kata suggests using torches from now on but Qin Tian tells him that they will just make a new flashlight. Qin Tian started fiddling with the broken flashlight and put it together in a bamboo. He also uses the calcium carbide that he brought. It took 2 hours for Qin Tian to create a calcium carbide lamp. They then put down a log as a bridge. They then cross the river, and Qin Tian now realizes that the electrocution was caused by the electric eel, which was mostly distributed in the Amazon River. It's a good thing that they didn't get directly in touch with them. The morning comes, and they finally arrive at their destination. Kata then starts to gather the bark while Qin Tian starts to work on something. Qin Tian prepares his materials and the recipe he got from his knowledge database. Qin Tian starts processing the acetic acid using the substances he currently has. He prepares a setup and now he can finally make quinine. Actually, the bark needs to be dried first. However, they are in a hurry. Qin Tian uses ethyl acetate to forcefully extract what he needs from the bark. With a few more processes, Qin Tian got what he needed. That night, Huizhou continued holding his unconscious sister in his arms, assuring her that their friends would be back soon. Nick notices something and thinks Qin Tian is back. Fukuma doubts it since it looks like a huge group. He then uses his telescope to check. Meanwhile, Qin Tian and Kata came back to their camp. However, they were soldiers from the city-state. The soldiers then discover them. The two then decided to kill the soldiers so their location wouldn't be exposed. The soldiers are also out for blood since the priest promised them rewards. Just then, someone appears from the tree branches above. The man plummeted 2 soldiers to the ground. Qin Tian and Kata recognized him from Saram's clan and they joined him to fight the soldiers. It didn't take long for them to finish off the soldiers. Heiyu and the parrot lead Qin Tian and Kata to the new location of the camp. Heiyu tells them that the soldiers discovered them 3 hours ago. In a flashback, Fukuma discovers that the approaching group is composed of city-state soldiers. Aruba panics because Chin Tian is not with them. Ragna asks him to get away with the others as he stalls the soldiers with smoke bombs. Huizhou and Heiyu also want to help Ragna. Fukuma notices that they have not been found out yet and that they need to get out as soon as possible. End of the flashback, and Heiyu tells Chin Tian that he stayed back to escort Chin Tian and Kata in case they appeared. The parrot suddenly informs them that they have arrived. Still, Chin Tian wonders how the soldiers easily find their rough location. Fukuma then sees that Chin Tian and the others are back. Huizhou is happy because Aya can now be treated. Soon after, Chin Tian administers the drug to Aya and hopes that Aya will wake up by the next day. Huizhou loudly expresses his thanks. Chin Tian hopes the medicine works after they did their best to get it. Chin Tian then orders the others to put out the bonfire. Chin Tian leans on a tree since he hasn't rested since yesterday. Since then his ring flashes. Surprised, Chin Tian hopes it won't act weird like during the time in the dungeons. Suddenly a woman's voice calls out for Zhang Feng. Chin Tian hasn't seen the ring glow like this before. He also wonders who the woman was. A holographic message then appears and shows that a user named Chewbacca is asking for communication. Suddenly the system shows that it is being hacked. A woman's voice resounds with a scream and a hologram appears. A beautiful woman wearing a modern lab outfit appears out of nowhere. Chin Tian gets surprised and wonders if she is Wang Yichu. The Lada people were surprised that a woman appeared from Chin Tian's ring. Soram and her clan are also in shock. The woman then notices something and looks around the area, looking confused. She can see that Zhang Feng is nowhere to be found. The woman then asked about their identities. How they got the ring and the whereabouts of the two idiots. Chin Tian can see how charismatic this Wanisan is. Chin Tian asks her to introduce herself before imposing such questions. Chin Tian is irritated that the woman started grilling them. The woman looks at them and sighs. She claims that they won't understand because they are from a different era. She asks them to listen carefully so they understand the situation. Chin Tian kept a poker face and assured them that they wouldn't interrupt her. The woman introduced her as Ichu, the director of Zone D3. She wonders if these people have gotten in contact with the two idiots since they got the ring. Her appearance was unexpected, but this was a good piece of news for Chin Tian. Chin Tian held back from asking questions since he promised not to interrupt her. After Ichu discussed everything, Chin Tian explained that he met Zhang Feng in Xuelin. The two continue talking while the others are confused about what they are talking about. However, Ragna notices some torches and warns the others that the city-state soldiers are coming. Chin Tian wonders how they are found so easily. Ichu then explains that the priest's ring is connected to the laboratory and can see everything in D3. She tells them not to worry later since she tweaked the system a bit and the priest won't find them later. The soldiers only discover the fire that has been put out lately. They are confident in their ability to chase down Chin Tian's group since they know that their priest is communicating with the gods. They left the area while Chin Tian and the others were hiding nearby. Ichu claims that her bait is working. She can see the priest being confident while looking at the map. Chin Tian suggests revoking the priest's access to the ring's functions. Ichu explains that it will cause some difficulties. Chin Tian is amazed that Ichu can easily lure away the enemies and realizes that she expected things to happen like this. Ichu then calls it a day and tells Chin Tian to continue their discussion in her laboratory. Chin Tian exclaims that Ichu should solve this issue since this is her territory. Ichu refuses to help and leaves. Chin Tian's head is hurting due to the information overload. Chin Tian then notices how the others are looking at him. Hu Zhao and Soram's clan starts exclaiming how they want to follow Chin Tian since he is friends with the goddess. Well, Ichu does look like a goddess to the Mayans and Chin Tian plans to keep it like that for now. It took Chin Tian an hour to calm down the Mayans. It was their first time to see such technological power. Chin Tian also managed to think through everything and summarized what Ichu discussed with them. First, the D3 lab is in the priest's temple. Second, the D3 lab can open a space-time portal that can send people back to their original timeline. Third, Ichu won't appear again until they reach the D3 lab. And fourth, the priest had a genetic potion similar to a super soldier serum just like Captain America. So the priest is Captain Mayan? Chin Tian then plans to figure out how to reach the D3 lab. But first, he needs a good sleep since he hadn't closed his eyes for 2 days. Chin Tian slept through the morning and only woke up in the afternoon. He then starts planning how to infiltrate the D3 lab as he recalls where the guards are stationed. It will turn dark soon and he can use this chance to infiltrate the temple. Later, some tribesmen camping around the city-state are captured. Shin Tian and the others can see that the security got tighter. Shin Tian, Kata and Nick sneakily jump over the moat while the guards are busy capturing others. The three then arrive at the abandoned temples. Shin Tian explains that no one approached them since they call it a cursed area. It will be easier for them to use the area as a place to hide. They climbed the abandoned pyramid and used it as a lookout. Shin Tian notices that the temple is lit up on one side while the other side is dark and quiet. Shin Tian's group continues to monitor the soldiers' movements. Despite Ichu luring others away, there are still a lot of soldiers patrolling around the temple. The spaces between the bridges are the only place where there are no soldiers. The priest must have believed that no one could cross the area. Shin Tian's team can cross the river instead and he decides to make a raft. Soon after, a raft is thrown into the water infested by piranhas. Shin Tian and the others climb down the cliff, however their raft starts making thumping sounds. The vicious piranhas are eating through the wood. Everyone gets shocked and immediately climbs back on the cliff. It seems like the piranhas have mutated. Using a raft is impossible for now. Shin Tian decides to call it a day for now. The next morning Shin Tian continued to check things out on the map. He recalls seeing rubber trees and notices from the map that it is not that far away. However, collecting latex is too much work and the others are not in the condition to do labor. Just then Aya wakes up and asks for food from her brother. Hu Zhao exclaims that Aya is now awake. Shin Tian then checks on Aya, who is busy munching food. Shin Tian confirms that Aya is getting better. However, she needs to continue taking the medicine to get better. Hu Zhao cries after learning that Aya is getting well now and lifts her like Simba. Now that the biggest problem is solved, Shin Tian can work on the rubber trees. Rubber trees typically grow in tropical forests. It is the most important industrial raw material. Aruba is amazed to see the tree leak something akin to milk. Shin Tian reminds the foodie that latex is not food. Shin Tian tells Hu Zhao not to help them and to take care of Aya instead. Hu Zhao insists on helping since it is his friend's business. Hu Zhao then wonders what Shin Tian is going to use the latex for. Shin Tian explains that he needs it to catch a fish that can knock out a crocodile. Aya wonders if Shin Tian is talking about the electric eels and Shin Tian confirms it. Shin Tian plans to use the electric eels to knock out the vicious piranhas so they can cross the river. To catch the electric eel they need an insulating material like rubber. For now, Shin Tian can produce natural rubber instead of synthetic rubber. To make natural rubber Shin Tian needs formic acid. He starts making formic acid using oxalic acid and his leftover glycerin. He continues to work on the chemistry processes that we won't explain further. While cooking, Shin Tian wonders how much latex they can collect. The afternoon comes and Shin Tian starts mixing the latex with formic acid. Nick hands over gloves made from animal skin. They felt like the smell was familiar. Shin Tian reminds them about the red fire ants which produce the same formic acid. Shin Tian then starts applying the natural latex to the gloves and some cloaks. He hopes things will turn out well the next day. The morning comes and the natural rubber has been dried out. Everyone is amazed at how the formic acid quickly coagulates the latex, which takes 2 days on its own. Kata is amazed that it feels like he is touching plastic. Shin Tian explains that the two are basically the same and brings out his battery. He turns it on and he finds the rubber glove making successful. He gains some points for it. Later at the river with electric eels, Shin Tian reaches out for an electric eel and tosses it toward Kata. Aruba can see that they look like harmless mudfish, but Pakuma warns Shin Tian that they are quite dangerous. Curiosity got into Aruba's head and reached for the electric eel. Of course he gets electrocuted. While Aruba is unconscious, Shin Tian explains that the infiltration team will be composed of him and Kata while Ragna, Nick, Pakuma, and Aruba wait from the outside. Shin Tian leaves the rest of the group to Ragna's care. He asks Pakuma to watch over the reckless Aruba. Shin Tian reminds the three who will be on standby to ignore things if the temple suddenly gets rowdy. Shin Tian recalls Ichu's words and assumes that they will be fine. Heiyu eavesdropped on them. Soram calls out his attention and Heiyu apologizes for being distracted. Shin Tian then approaches them. Soram is surprised to know that Shin Tian is leaving. However, Soram already swore her allegiance to Shin Tian and plans to say goodbye to her clan. Huizhou also wants to follow Shin Tian, but Shin Tian reminds him that they are currently wanted in the city-state. He asks Huizhou and Aya to go back to their tribe. The siblings got shocked and Shin Tian wonders what is wrong. The two are saddened upon learning that they are being abandoned. Heiyu appears and explains that Shin Tian was given a mission by the goddess, which is why Qin Tian can't bring them alone. Qin Tian makes it clear that he is not abandoning them. He feels grateful for Heiyu's assistance. Qin Tian left in secret after only informing Sorum and Heiyu. It would be trouble to tell everyone since they now revere Qin Tian as God's messenger, after Ichu suddenly appeared in front of them. Qin Tian's group silently left in the afternoon after saying goodbye to Sorum, Heiyu, and the siblings. However, Qin doesn't know that this is not a parting goodbye. That night, Ragna's group sees that Qin Tian's group was successful in lowering the raft. Qin Tian lowers a latex bag and Kata receives it. Qin Tian tells Kata to hurry and bring out the electric eel since the piranhas have sensed their movement now for sure. Speaking of the devils, piranhas are approaching their raft. Qin Tian tells Kata to hold still. The chilling electric eel notices the piranhas and lets out a strong electric current. The water shines bright and Qin Tian and Kata check on the water. Cooked piranhas start floating to the water's surface. Now they are safe to cross the river. Kata is amazed at how the electric eel was effective and feels the labor during preparation was fulfilling. Qin Tian and Kata then started paddling the raft. Qin Tian notices how the piranhas have mutated and takes note that he must be prepared for unexpected things like these. The two then reach the other side, but it is too much to climb with a single rope. Kata offers to go ahead since he is experienced with rock climbing. Kata then leads the way, and Qin Tian follows him. The two then reach the top but immediately hide as soon as the soldiers appear. They come out and sneak through the bushes. Qin Tian then starts figuring out how to get inside the temple. It's a good thing that the temple is heavily lit. Sand eagles can scout with no problems. The sand eagle flies over the temple and Qin Tian uses his eyesight to check on the guards. Qin Tian orders Sand Eagle to make a distraction. The Sand Eagle started squawking and it got the attention of the guards. Ragna's group notices the signal. Ragna asks Pakuma and Aruba to cover him and Nick. He reminds Nick about Qin Tian's plan. The two then start moving and split up. Pakuma lights a fire arrow and shoots it toward the temple. A soldier thinks it is a shooting star. However, he was late to notice that it was not, and he gets shot by the flaming arrow in the most dangerous part where a man could get hit. The poor soldier screams in pain. The other soldiers heard about the poor soldier and they went to check it out. Ragna finds his chance and starts charging toward the gatekeepers with a sword and shield. He easily knocks out the soldiers on the west side, while Nick slashes through the soldiers on the south side. The soldiers are now alerted that there are intruders. Just then, soldiers come pouring out, and Nick and Ragna start running away toward the forest. Qin Tian only ordered them to draw the soldiers' attention and leave as soon as more came out. The priest immediately got the report about the two intruders. A dozen of their soldiers died and most of them are now chasing the two in the forest. The priest sighs as he thinks of them as useless. He then tells them to leave and continues staring at his screen. He has been watching the movement of Qin Tian's group without sleep, and they just keep moving around even at midnight. He complains about how tiring it is even for the soldiers pursuing them. The priest can't believe that two people came back to attack. Just then he realizes something. Most of the soldiers are gone but 4 more guards are left behind to guard the dungeon. Qin Tian then tells Kata what to do next. The two use their sneaking skills to pass the guards and enter the dungeon. Qin Tian notices that the temple hasn't brought in new slaves since they escaped from there. The two then arrive at the stone wall which was described by Ichu. Kata wonders if they will use a bomb, however they haven't brought any gunpowder. Still, Qin Tian is well prepared for this and rummages through his back. He brings out bamboo containers that have carbide and sulfuric acid in them. They then pour some of the carbide into the small cracks. Just when Qin Tian is going to pour the sulfuric acid next, incoming footsteps are heard by them. The priest has come with his soldiers. He knew that there would be infiltrators in the dungeon. They suddenly discover a pair of shadows. However, they are only rats sticking against the wall near the torch. The rats ran off and the soldier thinks the infiltrators can use witchcraft and transform into rats. The priest gets mad and slaps the soldier. The priest looks around and notices the small cracks in the carbide. He then orders the soldiers to look for the infiltrators even if they have to open cracks. With the priest's orders, the soldiers scurry through the dungeon. They stab haystacks with the spears and continue to check every nook and cranny. Qin Tian watches them while hiding in a haystack. It's a good thing Qin Tian was quick to hide with Kata. There are a lot of them and it will be hard to kill them, so Qin Tian plans to attack the priest directly instead. The priest is heavily guarded but that also makes his position constrained. Qin Tian and Kata then decide to kill the priest. Kata comes out of the haystack and leaps toward the priest. Soldiers cover for the priest, but Chin Tian suddenly appears and steps on Kata's back. Chin Tian leaps toward the priest and the priest is glad that Chin Tian came out. Chin Tian felt something off. The priest smirks as he grabs the sword with his bare hands. The priest calls Chin Tian careless and tries to smack him with his mace. Chin Tian uses his superpower and quickly backs off. Kata gets worried, but Chin Tian claims that he is okay. The priest then introduces himself as Stuville. He claims he has been waiting for them. He realized that he was being tricked by the group and thought that Chin Tian would come to the D3 lab. Stuville then announces that he will kill them as punishment. Meanwhile, Nick is doing well and luring the soldiers away from the city-state. Ragnar is also doing his best, but the soldiers' persistence is already pissing him off. From the top of the abandoned pyramid, Pakuma fires off arrows as support. Soldiers are killed, but of course Pakuma's location is discovered at the same time. Seeing them distracted, Ragnar lights up a smoke bomb and throws it at the soldiers. Aruba gets worried and wonders if they need to support Chin Tian. Recalling Chin Tian's words, Pakuma tells Aruba to stay and wait. He reminds Aruba to trust Chin Tian and continues monitoring. Just then, he notices two individuals and wonders why they are there. Sand Eagle also notices it. Back inside the dungeon, Chin Tian laughs out loud at the priest's joke. The priest claims that Chin Tian and Kata can't escape. Chin Tian then tries to respond but forgets his name. Stuville shouts out his name. Stuville thinks that Chin Tian is still unaware of his power. Chin Tian then comments on how huge Stuville's eye bags are waiting for Chin Tian. Stuville asks Chin Tian how they can move without rest every day at every moment. Chin Tian decides to tell Stuville about it. He claims that his ring is more advanced and that Stuville's ring is inferior compared to his. Stuville gets pissed off by Chin Tian's bluff. However, Stuville also realizes that Chin Tian is not showing any fear at all. It is Stuville who is getting anxious right now. Chin Tian then claims that he still has some tricks. He pulls out a bamboo stick. Stuville orders his soldiers to kill Chin Tian and Kata. Just then, they hear a loud noise from the dungeon's entrance. Chin Tian did expect someone to come. A soldier comes flying in and Hu Zhao and Heiyu come as reinforcements. Hu Zhao is glad to see his friend again. Using Sand Eagle's shared vision, Chin Tian discovers the two infiltrating the temple. Stuville then announces that he will give out rewards to whoever kills the infiltrators. Chin Tian then tells his allies to hang in there while he gets busy for a minute. Kata and Hu Zhao shout as they comply. The two then block and protect Chin Tian. Chin Tian then opens the bamboo and pours acetic acid into the cracks with carbide. A chemical reaction starts and produces calcium sulfate. Chin Tian then brings out a water bottle and gulps some water. He sprays the water from his mouth over the cracks. The calcium sulfate starts reacting with the water and explodes like a bomb, cracking open the wall. Stuville can only curse, which leaves him no choice but to use something. He cracks his staff and a vial appears. Is this the serum that Ichu was talking about? Chin Tian knows that the substance is not something Mayans can produce. Stuville then injects the serum into himself. As the serum enters his bloodstream, Stuville's body starts changing. His heart is pumping harder than before, enough to make him scream in pain. Stuville screams out loud like a berserker. Chin Tian notices that the cracks are gradually increasing. Stuville then dashes forward and even swats aside his own soldiers. Kata quickly covers for Chin Tian. He can sense a power more terrifying than Samunsen's. However, a warrior like him should always face someone stronger. Stuville quickly dodges Kata's spear and counters with his own. The impact was so strong that it sent Kata flying. Kata can feel the numbness in his hands after defending Stuville's strike. Stuville attacks one more time and Kata blocks. He almost cracked his skull open. Stuville overpowers Kata. Kata is already saying his goodbyes to Chin Tian when Chin Tian surprisingly appears behind Stuville. However, Stuville notices Chin Tian and attacks instead. Chin Tian can't believe Stuville looks like he's got eyes on his back and dodges. Captain Mayan, Stuville is now stronger and fiercer because of the power serum. Chin Tian gets anxious because even the strongest Lada warrior was just swatted to the side like a rag. Stuville attacks Chin Tian instead. Chin Tian dodges all of Stuville's attacks. Stuville then mocks Chin Tian for bluffing before and wonders if he is only good at talking. Stuville claims that Chin Tian will die at his hands. Meanwhile, Kata keeps beating down other soldiers around the area. Knowing that they will be rewarded, they flock on Kata. Chin Tian gets worried that Kata is outnumbered. However, he is also quite busy with Stuville, who is relentlessly attacking him. Stuville tells Chin Tian to stop worrying for others and focus on himself instead. Hu Jia exclaims that they will be on Qin Tian's side soon. Even with Hu Jiao and He Yu, Qin Tian knows that they are still at a disadvantage. A soldier suddenly tries to attack Qin Tian for the reward, but Stuville knocks out his own soldier. He orders his men to get out of his way. Qin Tian suddenly got an idea. He then starts mocking Stuville that he kept missing his attacks for a while now. An offended Stuville tells Qin Tian to die with a scream. Qin Tian continues mocking him while leading him somewhere. The soldiers panic as they see the rampaging Stuville coming their way. Qin Tian runs in between the soldiers. On the other hand, Stuville smacks his soldiers away. He Yu wonders what is happening. Hu Jiao tells him that this is their chance. They knocked out more soldiers and decided to assist Qin Tian. More soldiers went away to assist Stuville. Only a few are left to confront Kata. Seeing their few numbers, Kata then easily defeats them with no issue. Meanwhile, Qin Tian is still playing tag with Stuville. Stuville gets more frustrated. His soldiers call his attention and discover that almost all of them are incapacitated. He just realized that he went berserk fueled by Qin Tian's teasing. He gets mad at Qin Tian who was still teasing him. He describes how beaten up the soldiers are by the priest that they believe in. The enraged Stuville orders his remaining soldiers to attack Qin Tian. However, the soldiers are now faltering. Stuville then decides to take action by himself. A spear suddenly comes flying and Stuville dodges. Kata, Heiyu, and Hu Jiao have come to assist Qin Tian. Kata tells Qin Tian to go and do whatever he needs to do while they stall Stuville. Qin Tian then leaves and runs toward the dungeon. However, he already reached his limit and is getting tired. He worries because despite being alone, Stuville is still strong. Even if he redeems for new abilities, he won't be able to use them. The only choice he has right now is to open the lab's door. An enraged Stuville gets mad that Qin Tian left without permission. He then chases for Qin Tian, leaving the others. Qin Tian hears some noise behind him and discovers Heiyu thrown toward him. Qin Tian catches Heiyu and checks on him. Kata and Hu Jiao are trying their best to hold down Stuville. Qin Tian recalls Zhang Feng's explanation that the ring can summon a shield. However, it will consume a lot of power and the ring will turn into a scrap. Heiyu then asks Qin Tian if he can snuff out the flames in the dungeon. He claims that no one can defeat him in the dark. Seeing Heiyu's cloudy eyes, Qin Tian realizes that Heiyu is blind. Qin Tian then lends his sword to Heiyu. Qin Tian then extinguishes the flames and Heiyu attacks Stuville from behind with a surprise attack. Stuville gets slashed and he orders his remaining soldiers to do something. However, everyone is having a hard time in the darkness. Stuville still notices Qin Tian in a direction. Heiyu appears to confront Stuville. Stuville dodges as he wonders what is going on. He notices that Heiyu is more agile than before. Stuville realizes that Heiyu must have trained his ears to have his hearing amplified. Everyone, we are seeing Captain Mayan versus Tribal Daredevil. Heiyu is amazed by Qin Tian's sword and swears to take Stuville's life using it. Stuville is worrying because he can't see that well and knows that he is at a disadvantage. He then runs off somewhere and uses his ring to emit light. Using his heightened senses due to the serum, he looks for Qin Tian. Qin Tian is amazed that Stuville suddenly got clever. Just then more people scream in the darkness, making Qin Tian wonder what is happening. Everyone tries their best to be calm. Stuville orders them to be aware of their surroundings. Still more soldiers are letting out their dying screams. Qin Tian knows that only Heiyu can do this. Stuville gets anxious as his soldiers' numbers are thinning out. Stuville cries in panic and starts waving his spear left and right without knowing that he is hitting his own soldiers. Heiyu then appears beside Qin Tian. Qin Tian wonders what is happening and Heiyu explains that Stuville is going crazy and hitting his own men. Qin Tian then realizes that this is a ruse to lure him out. Stuville is pretending to have gone mad and his soldiers are just waiting to attack while lying on the ground. However, Qin Tian claims that Stuville has missed one thing. He then whispers something to Heiyu and Heiyu agrees with the plan. Stuville continues swinging his spear. He also wonders why Qin Tian is not making any moves right now. Just then a rock flies in a certain direction and Stuville hears it. Stuville then hits something, but it is only a haystack. More stones are being thrown in other directions and they are making Stuville confused. Qin Tian is just silently laughing and throwing another stone. More stones follow, hitting different places. Stuville is getting confused. Qin Tian is stalling time while Heiyu pours the remaining acetic acid into the cracks. Suddenly a blinding light comes out of the crack. Qin Tian gets surprised. Stuville is getting more confused by the sudden event. Heiyu managed to widen the cracks. Stuville panics as he realizes that there is something more powerful than his ring. He then tries to leave and goes to a secret door. The soldiers see him running and they also follow. Kata assists Su Zhao, who wonders if it is fine to let them go. Qin Tian tells them to ignore their enemies. He is thankful that He Yu is with them because he fought amazingly with the priest in the dark. He claims he has lived all this time in darkness and only relies on his hearing. Just then, the crack widens and the lab's door appears. Qin Tian then uses his ring to activate the door. The system then welcomes them. The door opens and Hu Zhao wonders if the gods are welcoming them into their abode. He claims that this is the true temple of the goddess. Qin Tian tells them to go in. It is really different from where they came from. Another door opens and Ichu comes out of nowhere. Ichu wonders if Zheng Feng gave Qin Tian a modified version of the potion. Qin Tian wonders what Ichu is talking about. Ichu might have been suspicious of Qin Tian's super speed. Qin Tian asks if she is watching them. Ichu claims she only appeared right now because she is also saving on power. Ichu tells Qin Tian to enable the backup energy. She also confirms that she saw everything since she is part of the lab. While walking, Qin Tian wonders why they are not using any transportation. Ichu apologizes and explains that the D3 lab is not the same as the big labs like the Wufan lab. She only had basic equipment. Ichu then snaps her fingers and transport appears. She tells them to hop in and the men follow her like chicks following their mother hen. She claims that the vehicle is autonomous and sets off immediately. They travel through the lab with sheer speed and soon arrive at the infirmary. Ichu activates and opens the capsules. She orders the 3 tribesmen to enter them. Qin Tian wonders how long these Dragon Ball-like capsules can heal them. Ichu is not sure, but the wounded will undergo hydrotherapy and the medicine will hasten their recovery. The 3 then got inside and got locked. Liquid starts pouring into the capsules. The 3 tribesmen get shocked and wonder if they will drown to death. Ichu tells them to relax so they can breathe normally. Kata inhales air as much as he can and finally gets covered by the liquid. Kata soon realizes that he can breathe. Ichu commends how they trust Qin Tian a lot. The other lot of people also arrive in the dungeon. They went in after waiting for so long and discovered the lab's door. They wonder if they should also get in. Okumer reminds them how terrified that priest was when exiting the dungeon. He knows Qin Tian is alright. Nick suggests taking a rest and Ragna agrees. Meanwhile, Qin Tian gets excited and wants to try the capsule too. Ichu then snaps her fingers and another capsule appears. However, the tank got a different liquid suited for the patient and it might produce a hypnotic effect on him. Qin Tian wants to rest and sleep, but he can do it later since the others are waiting for him outside. Ichu then wonders why Qin Tian didn't use what Zheng Feng has left behind. Qin Tian claims that he doesn't want to dig himself into a hole. If he used the shield, then the ring would be useless. Qin Tian then wonders what was up with the priest's genetic potion. Ichu then decides to check the records back to when she awakened. She then notices Qin Tian looking around and claims that he is looking for a stool to sit on. She then discovers the footage of Qin Tian meeting the 2 idiots. Ichu then claims it is fine not to listen to her. Qin Tian then sits on the floor and asks for her story while they are extracting the data from the ring. Ichu then claims that the situation of the D3 lab is the same as the Wufang lab. They also experience time turbulence. Everyone died and Ichu is the only one who managed to upload her consciousness into the computer at the last minute. During the tragedy, Wufang went into standby mode to maintain the whole treasure island and uses as much as little energy to go on. On the other hand, D3 was not affected much by the time turbulence and didn't use much energy compared to Wufang, and the dome was also taken with it. Ever since that day, Ichu started investigating the cause of the accident and figured it out after a year. She started reverse engineering the data recorded and ultimately discovered the way to return to the original world. The process was indeed long and it took Ichu nearly 60 years to figure a way to open the cracks in spacetime. Qin Tian gets excited that there is a way home. Ichu did mention it the first time they met. Qin Tian felt the beat-up he experienced was useless since the ring was not significant. However, Ichu explains that she needed invaluable data from the ring for the scientific development of their country. Of course, it is not important for the young Qin Tian. Qin Tian then claims that he is obligated to contribute to his country and he feels honored. Qin Tian then asks what happened next. Ichu then tells him that the D3 lab went to standby mode. She discovered that the D3 lab doesn't have enough energy to open the portal between 2 timelines. It was a certain amount way beyond anyone's imagination. She then mentions how Qin Tian's group is from the 21st century, but Qin Tian claims that there are some from the 20th century. Ichu then mentions that a different timeline needs a different amount of energy. Shin Tian then complains because he knows Ichu can produce energy on her own, like sending out robots to build nuclear reactors or something. Suddenly, they discover the Mayans banging on the lab's door. Shin Tian is so relaxed that he is inside the fortified lab. Shin Tian then asks Ichu to continue. Before shutting down the lab, Ichu programmed it to reactivate once someone arrives at the lab. She also sent out a drone to find human beings, but it never found anyone. Suddenly the lab activates after 100 years. Ichu knows that it is an outsider since the lab personnel were wiped out. She soon finds out that the detected humans were Mayans from ancient times. At first Ichu intended not to interfere with their lives, however the mutated beasts and plans imposed dangers on them. She appeared before them using the drone as a projector, and she suddenly got revered as a god. She then established a subordinate supervisor relationship with them, and she provided the knowledge that they needed. Shin Tian got surprised that the Mayans' technology was from Ichu. Soon after she ordered them to create solar panels, and since then the lab was hibernating to save energy. At that time the Mayans continued developing cultural knowledge based on what she taught them. The Mayan pyramids were their one product since they needed a high place for the solar panels. This is a shocking discovery for Shin Tian, but the sacrifice ritual was not an idea from Ichu. Shin Tian then wonders why the panels were destroyed. Ichu explains that the Mayan civilization has reached a new height with a growing population. She woke up for the second time and selected some of them as her students. She made clear that she was not a god, but they still revere her. She imparted them a ring after she taught them everything. It was meant to protect her students, whom she left the task to spread civilization. Her students' predecessors then soon called themselves priests and held the responsibility for advancement for hundreds of years. However, a scheming one has appeared. Shin Tian wonders if it is the one from outside. Now that Shin Tian mentioned it, Ichu activates something and the door outside starts shining. A laser beam shoots out and hits Stuville's head. Seeing that Stuville has fallen dead, the soldiers run away, knowing that they have offended the goddess. Ichu claims he abused his authority and it is better for him to die. Shin Tian feels like he is also being warned. Shin Tian wonders who the priest Ichu was talking about. She mentions it was Black Soil and mentions how the Mayans used simple words as names. She recalls how ambitious Black Soil was and made a plan to take over the Mayan kingdom. He went to assassinate the other priests and used Ichu's name to control things behind the scene through the king. It was the start of the age of theocracy, and Black Soil's family ruled the Mayan civilization through different civilizations. Shin Tian wonders why there is still a king if Black Soil is already claiming the place as his own. Ichu explains that Black Soil wanted a shield in case of natural disasters, sacrificing the king. They also went ahead to destroy the solar panels and surround the main temple with boulders to prevent any treacherous factors. The time that Ichu woke up again, she found herself trapped and didn't have a choice but to lock down the lab for good. She saved some energy in case of an emergency, like when she appeared for the first time in front of Shin Tian. Just then, the system suddenly lets out an alarm. Shin Tian gets surprised to see the king with other citizens apologizing to Ichu. They continue to beg for mercy. The soldiers went to the king after the real ruler was killed. Shin Tian wonders what the goddess will do. Ichu claims it is better to lie since Black Soil's line is already wiped out. She then reappears before the Mayans and mentions Stuville's arrogance. She then forgives them since they acknowledge their mistake. The king then starts praising Ichu. Shin Tian can't help but recall how he also used his position to gain the trust of the Lada people as God's messenger. However, his fake identity is making sense now, and he plans to lead them further in the future. Ichu then uses this chance to push the responsibility to Shin Tian by appointing him as her divine incarnation. Suddenly, the capsule started opening. Heiyu, Kata and Huejo can't believe that they got better in such a short span of time. However, long-term issues like Heiyu's impairment were not cured. Shin Tian then interrogates Huejo and Heiyu. Heiyu claims that he overheard the plan and told Huejo about it. They were just observing at first but soon jumped in after sensing that Shin Tian was in danger. Shin Tian then thanks them and everyone laughs as Huejo exclaims that they are friends. Ichu then comes back because the calculation report is done. She claims that it is both good and bad. They can open the portal, but it would only be up to the Mayan period. Ichu further exclaims that the lab has only enough energy for up to 100 years, and they can only manage to open the portal to the Mayan period. Shin Tian claims it is a good thing while looking disheartened. Huejo tells him not to give up and Shin Tian realizes that he still has them. Shin Tian then wonders if they can put back the solar panels and replace human force with robots. Ichu agrees, but it will still take a long time to accumulate energy. She is afraid that Qin Tian will die of old age before that. Qin Tian gets depressed again. He suddenly remembers the dome Ichu mentioned before. Ichu explains that the dome lab was the central lab in Biosphere 3. It serves as a solar core, which is an emergency energy source for the lab. If Qin Tian can find it, then they will have enough energy to send Qin Tian to his timeline. Qin Tian is glad that he now has a chance to get back home. He then wonders if Ichu didn't mention it on purpose from the start. Qin Tian realizes how much of a teaser Ichu is. Qin Tian then wonders how to get there. The broken ring he got from Zheng Feng should have led them there, but it pointed in the D3 lab's directions instead. Ichu